If you are not an Atlanta Falcons fan or an Atlanta sports fan in general, you do not know pain when you see it. So, just give you a perspective, the Atlanta Falcons had a 28 to 3 lead and we blew it. Of course we do. We had one of the best quarterbacks that we have had, besides Michael Vick, of course, at the Atlanta Falcons. We had Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Roddy White. I mean, we had all these good guys, and we just could not bring it together. A 28 to 3 lead. I thought this was going to be my first time witnessing as a Falcons fan that you would get over the hump and we would finally win a championship. And no, we cannot do that. We lost 28 to 3. We were up late in the third quarter, 28 to 3, and you lose in overtime to the Patriots. That is beyond me, man. That was probably the most heartbreaking moment as an Atlanta sports fan. If you're an Atlanta sports fan, like, honestly, dude, and I would just say us and the Jets probably have the worst luck. We haven't made the playoffs since the 2016-17 season, so we have one of the longest playoff droughts. We have a beast of a running back in Bijan, and our quarterback situation, it is what it is. We got Bijan in the backfield, and let's just say we got Drake London pretty good, but look, our quarterback, concussion king with Tua we just signed. We got the ACL king with Penix. So, I mean, it's just very frustrating. We got all this talent, but the quarterback position is holding us up. And Madden, he's a 72 overall Penix is, and it's... So, I mean, we just have to give them time and just see how it goes, man. And look, even we'll stay on the Falcons topic. If y'all remember, in 2012, we were up 17-0 on the 49ers, I believe. It had to be the 49ers. And we lost at home, one game from the Super Bowl, and we absolutely just choked. I mean, it's just very heartbreaking to see that you cannot come in clutch when it matters, when it is on the line. It's just very frustrating. The 98 season was probably the best season as a Falcons, but then we lost badly to the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, and, that's very frustrating. But the thing is, Atlanta's had really good players, and we just have not been able to come through. It's so painful to even think about sometimes. But, look, you've had Matt Ryan, you had Julio Jones. Look, I can put in Trey Young. I mean, his terrible defense. But it is what it is. The Falcons, they got Jalen Johnson now. They got a good player. But you got Acuna with the Braves. So it's not like the Braves have had terribly bad players historically. We've had Dominique Wilkins. We haven't had good. We haven't had. I'm trying to say we have had really good players, but the supporting cast with both teams, it just feels like we can never get over the hump. But the greatest player quarterback probably is Michael Vick, honestly. The way that he could scramble and throw, if you actually look at everything that they've done. The one championship that I have actually seen, I'm not counting soccer because I don't really watch it, but the thing is, the Braves did win one in the early 2020s. So, I mean, that is true, but, the Braves have had some bad luck, too. That was very heartbreaking. We've had a good team lately. So, that's the really big plus thing. And, we lost in the 96 World Series. We were up 2-0. And then we lost 4 straight against the Yankees. So, I wasn't born back then, but I did watch the highlights, and I was like, wow, even we're just dealing with that, The thing is, every sport that Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Braves, all these sports teams, and it just seems like we just can't put it together, which is very frustrating. Our 2020, the Braves were up 3. Y'all probably remember this. We were up 3-1 against the Dodgers, and then we lost the series. And it's just like, yeah. Welcome to being an Atlanta sports fan. That's it for you, All right, look, the Atlanta Hawks, y'all remember this was crazy. This is over 10 years ago. It don't feel like it. Time flies. But the 2015 season, I thought the Atlanta Hawks were going to win a championship with this solid team. We were a 60-win team. 6-0. We were basically the Spurs of the East. But, in the playoffs, guess who we ran into? LeBron freaking King James. And what happened? We got swept. Of course we got swept. So, that's just, the basis of being an Atlanta sports fan. You're just used to disappointment. But the thing is, I have hope. I do. But, even with we've had some good players. We had Joe Johnson, he had no true title hopes at all. So, we did get to y'all remember in 2021, we got to the Eastern Conference Finals with Trae Young somehow. We got through them. We got through the Knicks. We beat them somehow, and we got through. That was we lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. That's when I think in Game 5 or Game 6, Trae Young got hurt, and we really had a really good shot of winning a title that season. But the entire existence, as Atlanta sports stories and series that everything comes down to. It's constant playoff success. It's just a little bit, they give you hope, and then, that's why I said it earlier, it's like us and the Jets have really playoff little success that gives you hope, but you truly know there's not much hope in the end. So, even let's move on to the Georgia football team. We've had pain. We lost to Ole Miss in the first round. We lost to Notre Dame in the first round. This was 2 years in a row where we're supposed to be one of the best teams in the nation. And, they just give us hope. We did win. We have won too with Kirby Smart, which is probably our biggest bright spot. And I just want to say, y'all saw we got Zachariah Branch, Georgia's receiver. So I'm kind of hyped to see how he does. I know he's only 5'10" or 5'11", but we'll just have to see how he does. And AJ Terrell's brother, we drafted him as well. So we'll just have to see. And Zachariah Branch is interesting prospect for the Falcons. So we'll just have to see. But we were playing, the Alabama with Nick Saban. We just could not beat them. It just seems like the Georgia sports curse just continued. The narrative, crushing losses. So, it's just very frustrating to, be an Atlanta sports fan. But if y'all actually agree on that prospect of being, what team are y'all rooting for? But right now, I will say I'm happy for the Knicks right now. They're doing good in the playoffs. They haven't had a point guard in a very long time. So, just being sports fans sometimes, it's very just frustrating to deal with, but it is what it is. That's life. But, hopefully, do you guys think an Atlanta sports team at all could win a championship? I could see it with maybe the Braves. Hawks are very hard to say yes. They do have Jalen Johnson, but we don't really have a go-to scorer. CJ McCollum's getting older. Kaminga's not the best scorer in the world. So, but I have faith. So we'll just have to see. So, what is y'all's favorite team? So, It's very interesting what holds with the Atlanta's franchise because I do have hope in the Falcons. I have Bijan is my biggest motivator, but the quarterback position is very tough. So, what are you guys thinking? Appreciate if you guys stuck around, subscribe to the channel, and hey, we'll just have to grow from here. And hey, I'm out. I appreciate you guys a lot. Let's go. Peace.